I do not encourage any form of illegal substance use or criminal activity. This is strictly for educational purposes only.
Trip League Forum. Pump Boys Trip. Salvia Divinorum. Trip number 6. So one day, I decided I was going to do Salvia at my girlfriend's house. One more time to see if anything else was in there that I can get from it. So one night, I set up a nest of blankets at the bottom of her bed, between the bed and a dresser. And it was my dresser at the time. I had sat with my back against the dresser, packed up 2 bowls, like normal, and set them up. I told her I'd begin, and don't let me leave the room. I took 2 massive hits. Cleared the first bowl. Cleared the second bowl. And as I let out the smoke, I was spiraling up into a place that I lost time, I lost placement. I didn't know who I was, where I was, when I was, or what was going on, or why I was seeing this room. And I was seeing the dresser, I was seeing the room from the dresser's point of view. I felt as if I had been spiraled up, wrapped up, steamrolled into a dresser. I knew nothing. No recollection that I had just smoked salvia. After a while, I had noticed I was looking at something else. And then I realized I didn't recognize anything in the room. So I just said, "Well, where's God?" This seemed to be the most obvious question. Well, where's God? I said, "Where's God?" and my body appeared to me as a desert. I instantly fell into this desert, and I began climbing, and I was climbing and climbing. I climbed my own face. I reached up into my nostril, climbed up the side of my nose, and I looked right into my left eye. This, I found I was seeing myself. And it said with a snap, "That's right, I'm right here." Yep, I hid myself right in the open, because I knew you wouldn't believe me if I did. It's that simple. You are you, I am you. We are one, said God. And then I laughed, and I fell backwards and smacked into the dresser. As I came back into normal view, I immediately crawled into bed, blank-faced. I was just a small person looking into my own eye and saw the controller. This trip really changed the way I see things. For 2 months after this trip, every day, I felt like I was super fragile in mind and body, that I was exposed, and that God, or myself, may fall out of my own eyes at any moment. Like if I was to look down, I could possibly fall out of my head. I was giant, and the viewer behind my eyes was trapped in a giant body which he could fall out of, into the abyss and be bodiless. So I was careful not to mess with this plant, Salvia Divinorum, for a good amount of time. For I had known the power, and I had known what I needed to know. It was odd. I was God. God is me. God is odd. To be shown that you are God, but then be humbled to the point of respect and fear of falling out and falling from God, the fragility of being in this body, the feeling I felt, and the unknown truth, home of the Spirit. How little we know is shown increasingly as we examine and experience more. Overall, this trip was my most positive experience, leading me to the point that I know I am one with the universe. And it cleared up the idea of my second trip, of flying through space and landing in the back of my own head and operating from behind my eyes. This body is a vehicle for the divine love